Oh, yeah. Is it Tuesday already? Two, not one, two Maul Shadow Lord trailers today and a Mandalorian and Grogu behind the scenes trailer from yesterday. Three Star Wars trailers today, chat. Are you kidding me? We got a lot to get into. We even have a giveaway today because it's the last stream of the month. We are less than a week away from Maul Shadow Lord. This is absolute insanity, but we got so much to get into today and not a lot of time. So without further ado, let's dive in to all of it. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Tuesday afternoon? You heard that correct from the guy who, does my intros. 3 Star Wars trailers. 2 for Maul, 1 for the Mandalorian and Grogu. Brand new scenes for both projects. I was going to say shows, but one's a movie, one's a show. Both projects, brand new scenes. The Mandalorian and Grogu one had me jumping out of my chair yesterday, and the Maul ones are just incredible. A new scene from Maul Shadow Lord and a new trailer that gets you so ridiculously hyped up. So yeah, it's probably the greatest time ever to be a Star Wars fan right now. And we got to clear the air a little bit with some of the release dates for Maul Shadow Lord, because I was confused, and if I'm confused, then I bet you're confused as well, so we'll talk about that. But before we get to any of it, let's start by saying hi to everybody in the chat, shall we? Ron, how we doing? Kyler in the building. Brandon Baker, what is up? Mando United, how we doing? Holly in the building. G Strips, what is up? Steve, how we doing? Starship 66 in the building. Cleve Morris, what is up? Nathan, how we doing? Bigley's man. Great name. Jen Urso, what is up? Darth Plagueis lives. How we doing? Steven in the building. Another Mike who loves Star Wars. What is up? All right, if I missed you, you know the deal. Xavier, what's up? 730 Evie, how we doing? If I missed you, you know the deal. Just yell at me in the chat. Let's give everybody a nice little
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Okay, let's actually start this stream the best way possible with a super chat. Another Mike who loves Star Wars with a very generous $10 super chat. That's insanely generous. I appreciate that quite a bit. Says, just want to say thanks for giving us a positive home to talk about Star Wars. Crazy that you're about to tip 200,000 subscribers when it just seems like yesterday that you hit 100,000 and we got the blue milk shower. LOL. Don't remind me of that blue milk shower. That was brutal. But yes, we are about to hit 200,000 at least probably within the next couple weeks, I would guess. Maybe even this week. It's, it fluctuates. But I appreciate that quite a bit. The goal, almost 200,000 subscribers ago when I made this channel, was to make a positive environment for Star Wars fans. And I think, I don't know, but I think we have created with the people who love Star Wars, with you guys, the incredible fandom that we have here with the channel. It's all you guys, by the way. I don't do shit. Just kidding. Language. We've created a pretty positive environment. We get our haters every once in a while. We like projects. We don't like projects. But it's pretty positive for the most part. And today's going to be an even more positive day because we got 3 trailers to watch. 3. So I appreciate that super chat. I really, really do. And yes, we're getting very, very close to 200,000. So we'll talk about that when it happens, I guess. But let's start with the Maul Shadow Lord release schedule, because I was very confused by this, and I'm sure many of you are as well. So let's start with this. Maul Shadow Lord releases on April 6th. We've known that. However, April 6th is not a Tuesday, which is usually where Star Wars shows release. Ahsoka was Ahsoka Tano Tuesdays. Every show. Andor was Tuesdays. But going back to like Mando was Tuesdays. Well, I think the first season of Mando was actually Fridays. But either way, it's been Tuesday releases for a really, really long time. Maul Shadow Lord is not on a Tuesday because April 6th is a Monday. I don't know why the number is so small, but that is the 6th right there. April 6th is a Monday, meaning the 2-episode premiere of Maul Shadow Lord will release on Monday of next week at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, meaning when we have our watch party for this series, it will be at 3 a.m. or 2:50 or 2:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So right now it's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 hours before this, almost 11 hours. So that is on a Monday, not a Tuesday, a Monday, not a Tuesday. Because this show will run for 5 weeks. 2 episodes per week for 5 weeks, meaning 2 episodes on Monday, the 6th of April. And then a week later on Monday, the 13th, 2 more episodes. Whoops, 2 more episodes. And then a week later on the 20th, which is a Monday, 2 more episodes. And then the 27th, a Monday. Also 2 episodes. Now, the reason that they did this was because the following week, in the finale week, is May the 4th. And May the 4th falls on a, you guessed it, Monday. So let's say it all together now, chat. When does Maul Shadow Lord come out? On a Monday. Okay, so.
This is where the fun begins.
So yes, in order for this finale to happen on May the 4th, on Star Wars Day, it has to start on a Monday so it can end on a Monday. And it comes out at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now that we got that cleared up, let's watch some trailers, chat, shall we? Let's watch some freaking trailers! Okay. Actually, where do we want to start? Maul Shadow Lord or Mando and Grogu? What do you guys want to do? I'm going to leave it up to you today. Are we starting with Mando or Maul Shadow Lord? And yes, we do have the giveaway today. So if you're not yet a member, today is your last chance to become a member for this epic giveaway, which, by the way, is very Mando and Grogu today, which is this Lego set where, brought back to popular demand, Grogu in the pod. This awesome Lego set of Grogu in the pod. So if you want a 1 in, like, I don't even know what it is now, 90-ish chance to win this, become a member today. Last chance. Okay. But that'll happen later on in the live stream. So what should we start with? Maul? I'm seeing a lot of Maul. Maul first. Maul Mondays. True. Maul Mondays. Tano Tuesdays. Maybe they did that on purpose. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. But, all right, we'll start with Maul, and then we'll go to Mando later. So we got an official scene, our second official scene, for Maul Shadow Lord, and we also have a little 30-second, hype edited thing. So we'll watch that too. I'll get to that super chat in 1 second. Let me start with this. Wait. By the way, Lucasfilm's marketing team has always been incredible. Through, like, all the way back to even the sequel trilogy, they were incredible in hyping up those movies. Chewie, We're Home, like all that great stuff. Even with Disney Plus, and even with all the shows that have come before, the marketing has been spectacular. Now we're getting Maul Shadow Lord in 6 days. And stuff like this is what gets fans ridiculously excited.
They tried to kill me. They failed.
So, I mean, if you watch that without a giant grin on your face, like I've been smiling all morning, if you watch that without getting hyped up for Maul Shadow Lord, there is something wrong with you. You might want to go check into an urgent care immediately. Again, I'm no doctor, but that's my professional opinion. Because this is doing the job, and that's getting people hyped up for the show, while also actually giving us some new-looking scenes for the series. There's a fly in here. Damn it, I missed it. Wait. Damn it. Okay. We'll leave it alone for now. But let's watch it again. It's a 30-second teaser for an animated show. And they go all out. All out. They literally make everything black and white except for Maul swinging his lightsaber until he makes contact with the person. Then they go into, or I guess it's based off of the lightsaber color. Yeah, look at that. He's black and white until he gets booted by Maul. Then he turns to color. They're black and white until he gets sliced by Maul. Then he turns to color. Like this is, talk about attention to detail. Talk about attention to detail. Craziness. I'll even rewind a little bit here to this. Takes his hood off, cuts flashes to Maul in the hood in the show. I mean, come on. Now, there's a couple new little things in here, but a lot of this is to, I guess, show the normie fans, for lack of a better word, the fact that, yes, Maul is still alive. Maul is still the same character that he was in The Phantom Menace, that guy that you love so much, that cool design of a devil-looking character from Episode 1. That guy is getting his own show, and you're going to want to watch it. We got some even better news today that Sam Witwer confirmed to us that you don't have to watch anything to prepare for this show. Anything. That's pretty exciting. Clan Brandalorian, what's up, Brandon? How we doing? I'm doing great. How are you? So you don't have to watch anything. Sam Witwer confirms you don't have to watch a single thing. It's just like with Ahsoka Season 1, or I guess anything that came before. They have to toe the line of fans who've watched everything, fans who've seen all 7 seasons of the Clone Wars, know where Maul's story goes in Rebels and in Solo. And they also have to, I guess, appeal to the fans who've never seen Clone Wars for a single second and didn't even know that Maul was still alive. They have to explain all of it in this 10-episode series, which is wild. Okay, a little bit of a new scene here. Maul fighting the 11th Inquisitor, I believe, 11th brother, or the Crow, and then Marok on the left there.
They tried to kill me.
Whoa, who is that? Oh, is that just... Wait a second. Maul's going 2-on-1 versus Devin Izara and Master Ego Dio? News to me. What? How did I miss this? Okay, this is Master Ego Dio on the right, and Devin Izara here, our Twi'lek apprentice, our Twi'lek, I guess not yet apprentice, on the left, fighting Maul, 2-on-1. Holy! They got it past us. They thought they got it past us. My goodness. That's awesome. And then it cuts to Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan versus Maul in The Phantom Menace. Are you kidding me? Whew. That's insane. Okay. Let's go back a couple seconds here. So, this is crazy. The clip we have from today just proves that, Devin's going to die. No, I'm kidding. Devin's master is going to die. Emma says, how gay is this guy, LOL? Exactly. Okay. But this is pretty crazy because I did not think we were going to get Maul versus the two of them at the same time. Very Phantom Menace-esque. Here he is doing a backflip of some sort, and then it cuts to him getting chopped in half because... Actually, he's getting blown up. Oh, never mind. It's just a blaster bolt. We're good. Crazy.
They failed.
They failed. Wait a second. Again. Maul versus Master Ego Dio. Just thrown in there for a couple frames so that you miss it. Pretty wild. In between him slicing some pikes and fighting 2 Inquisitors. It's Maul versus Master Ego Dio. Wild. Oh, 30 seconds. 30 seconds is all it takes. That's not Master Eco Dio? What do you mean? Different face? You can't even see his face. What are you talking about? Oh, wait, you might be right. Hang on a second. You might be onto something. But this is the head of Master Eco Dio, but the face does look a little strange there. Not gonna lie. What other dinosaur-looking Jedi would it be? You mean we're getting 2 of them? You might be onto something here. That does not look like that. Where's the mustache? Doesn't he have a mustache? Huh. Coleman Trebor confirmed. Yeah, the return of Coleman Trebor. Now, I actually have a really funny video. I'm so glad you brought that up. Side notes, do you guys give me a 1 into the chat if you know the character Coleman Trebor? If you don't know. The GOAT himself who died to Jango Fett in Attack of the Clones. Star Wars, Coleman Trebor. Here we go. The GOAT himself, the man, the myth, the legend, this dinosaur-looking handsome fella, and you know, this guy right here. I'm very glad you brought that up because I have something insane to show you guys. The fan theory that might just be what we've all been waiting for. Wait.
Did you know that this Jedi stole Anakin's wife and betrayed the entire Jedi Order? His name was Coleman Trebor. He was part of the Council, and people always came to him for advice. He even bravely tried to attack Count Dooku, but was stopped by Jango Fett and seemingly died. But did he really? Unfortunately, this was all an act. He was pulling all the strings behind the scenes, and Palpatine was his marionette. Why else would a Jedi Master just forget how to use his lightsaber against someone with a normal blaster? It was a coordinated stunt. Jango Fett was hired by Coleman to fake his death so he could go off the grid. But why would he do that? Because he realized that the Jedi were starting to become suspicious. They began to suspect that someone among them was behind everything. He didn't want to become a suspect himself. Coleman also despised Anakin Skywalker. A few years later, Padme mysteriously died of sadness. But it's obvious this was just another coordinated fake death. It's even implied that Coleman Trebor was hiding in the crowd during Padme's fake funeral. A few days later, Coleman and Padme ran away from everyone they knew. They spent years traveling across different planets and systems. They even had a child together named Snoke. After the Emperor's death, Coleman wanted to piss off Anakin's Force ghost, so he told Snoke to clone Palpatine and turn him into a major threat once again. Did you know that this Jedi stole
Might just be my new favorite theory of all time. Might just be the greatest fan theory ever. Coleman Trebor and Padme Amidala's son is Snoke. Genius. Genius!
This is where the fun begins.
That is truly the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life, but I'm very glad you brought that up. Getting back to this trailer, actually, I want to put up a poll before we do. If you have not smashed a freaking like on the stream, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. Get on it. Which upcoming Star Wars project are you more excited for? Now, this might be a little swayed because Maul Shadow Lord's in 6 days, but I'm going to go Maul Shadow Lord or The Mandalorian and Grogu. And we have watched one of the Maul trailers, have not watched the other one, but when you watch The Mandalorian and Grogu one, this poll might actually change, but for now, we'll leave it at that. So, having said that, having looked at that great fan theory, of course, is this Coleman Trebor? Is he back from the dead? Is he having children with Padme Amidala who, staged her own death of sadness? No, obviously not. That's a joke, and I sometimes I act serious, and some of you believe me, so I don't want to get that twisted. But this does not look like Master Eco Dio. I will grant you that. No mustache. Can't really see his face fully, but we're talking maybe another surviving Jedi Padawan who's hanging out with Ahsoka Tano? Will I break down the Maul episodes? Of course. Of course. But strangely enough, this could be a different Jedi. Great catch, Chad. So if that wasn't hype enough, we do have an official scene, our second official scene from Maul Shadow Lord. So let's take a gander at that. The first one gave us a little bit of, I guess, Maul's introduction, where we got to see him enter with the Duel of the Fates music playing. That was great. Now we have another. There is another. So this one was posted an hour ago. So let's take a look at this. About a minute and 12 seconds long.
Emergency on the walkway! Hey, buddy. You all right?
So that's it. Of course, they're just teasing us with that, but some pretty crazy stuff going on here. One, Maul is capturing Devon Izara against her will. And we are seeing him almost distract Jedi Master Iko Dio. Maul looking all badass here. It looks like there was some sort of fight that already happened, so we're getting like the end of it here, which is cool. Honestly. So, yeah. Devon wakes up, realizes what's happening after she crashed. Whoa. Maybe Maul's already captured Devon Izara. She is on the ship. And then her master makes them crash. And this is sort of the aftermath of that. Possible. This is such fake Star Wars. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, Lucasfilm made it. It's, you know, from the minds of George Lucas. I mean, how much more Star Wars can it get? Now, honestly, going back to the whole different, younger looking, maybe it was a young version of Master Iko Dio in that last trailer. Maybe Maul was in some sort of flashback sequence fighting Master Iko Dio before. Maybe they have some relationship, and that's why he's so against working with Maul. Because Devon Izara is not wrong. This girl is like, Maul wants to fight the Empire. We want to fight the Empire. Let's work with him. Why wouldn't they do that? Well, maybe they have a backstory here. Maybe they got some sort of a history together. I'd like that. So maybe it's a younger version of Master Iko Dio who is from that last clip. Because it's definitely the same species. They got the long, you know, dinosaur head. It just looks like a younger version of the character. All right. Here's where we're at with Maul. Now, the problem is, last stream we talked about how there's levels to this thing. You got Palpatine, Vader, your Yodas up at the top tier of Force users and the most powerful beings in the entire universe. Maul is, yes, closer to the top than some others, but he's not anywhere close to one of the most powerful beings in the whole galaxy. That's why when Palpatine comes to fight him and his brother on Mandalore, Palpatine absolutely wipes the floor with them. Like, it's not even close. So he may be a lot more powerful in this instance than even when we see him in Rebels. because this is sort of the peak of his powers. He just closes his hand and this whole bridge collapses. That's pretty damn powerful. That's pretty damn powerful.
Emergency on the walkway.
I believe that is our Brander Lawson character.
Emergency
Yes, that is Brander Lawson, his droid 2 boots right there.
on the walkway.
It does just look like a younger version of that character. So, Master Iko Dio, being a Jedi, has to go save the civilians, save the innocent people.
Hey, buddy. You all right?
I wonder what Brander's sort of, because Iko Dio disappears, I wonder what Brander's relationship with the Jedi is going to be like. Does he view the Jedi like the Empire does? Does he view them as the bad guys, or does he think that they can help? I don't know. Either way, that'll be an interesting relationship right there. But Master Iko Dio disappears. This makes things kind of, I guess, different than I thought they were going to go. I thought Master Iko Dio would die, and I still think he will. But I thought he'd die in an early episode so that Devin wouldn't have that anchor to the light side to, I guess, keep her from falling to the dark. Now it looks like Maul has captured her, imprisoned her, to forcefully make her turn to the dark side, which is a little different of how I thought things would go. And we might even get some sort of rescue mission from her master trying to rescue his apprentice. Which, how will that go? A lot of this is different than just how I imagine this show going in my head, and that's usually how it works. But still, Iko Dio survives at least the first encounter with Maul, and there will be another. There's another. All right, so that is our official clip. Let's watch it through one more time.
Emergency on the walkway. Hey, buddy. You all right?
Again, they would not be showing us this if it was not in the first episode. Or the second episode, I guess, in the premiere week. They will not be showing us scenes from way later in the series in just these clips and trailers. It's always, for the most part, like 90% first couple episodes. So all this will happen in the opening of the show, and I guess the opening episodes of the show. There's an 8-episode clip of Dave Filoni speaking. What? From 2 hours ago? Hang on. Is that real? I'm worried about this being TV PG. Well, I don't know what it's going to be rated. However, I'm not concerned about that because of Clone Wars, because of Rebels, because of The Bad Batch. Like, we've already had scenes, Clone Wars Season 7, where Maul is going down a hallway slicing off clone troopers' heads. Like, they've never held back with the character of Darth Maul. And when he gets his own show, they're definitely not going to hold back. So I don't know what the TV rating is going to be, but it doesn't matter. They've already done this stuff in the animated side of things. It's for kids. It's not. But, so I'm not too concerned about that. We'll put it that way. There's an 8-minute Filoni behind the scenes. Wait a second. We got a third Maul trailer? Third thing? Whatever? Oh my god, you're right. Hang on a second. Hang on, chat. You guys hear that? Wait a second, chat. Wait a second, chat. Okay. Hopefully that fixed it. All right. We got an 8-minute. It says Darth Maul character commentary with Dave Filoni. All right. Let's take it out. Let's check it out.
Your vision is flawed.
I see the path.
I like it so far.
Needs one last lesson.
Hi, my name is Dave Filoni, and I was the supervising director of Star Wars The Clone Wars and one of the creators and supervising director of Star Wars Rebels. Today we're going to be looking at a couple clips from each of those shows and see how we dealt with the evil Darth Maul.
Interesting. So this isn't, I guess, it is about Maul. It's about preparing for Maul, but it's not about Maul Shadow Lord. This is looking back at behind the scenes of Rebels and Clone Wars. Still cool, but no. Now that's going to be the entirety of Maul Shadow Lord. 2 different levels of villains fighting each other. There's going to be good guys like the Jedi, or a couple Jedi, in this series, but it's going to be bad guys versus worse guys. What they keep telling us. Bad guys versus worse guys. Maul versus the Empire. And this was our first introduction to that. I actually find it very cool that the reason that we didn't see Sidious in action in the early seasons of the Clone Wars is because they couldn't do it with the animation. Not because the story didn't, I guess, have that involved with Sidious coming out as, I guess, the Sith Lord himself, but because they couldn't create his look. I never noticed that. Never even noticed that one single time. I've watched this episode 1 trillion times. I've seen this scene 10 trillion times, and I never noticed the painting in the background being Jedi versus Mandalorians. That's... Talk about a Okay. So that was the Clone Wars portion, and now we get to the Rebels portion. Now, the coolest part about Rebels to me is that we know where Maul's story comes to an end. So even with the Maul Shadow Lord series, we know where it goes. However, the place it goes is Maul, by himself, pretty much lost his mind on Malachor 5, and then he dies. But we got to get there somehow. He's building up this criminal empire. He's got all these friends, so to speak. And then he ends up by himself on Malachor 5. Even in Rebels, the kid show, even in Rebels, you see Maul killing a bunch of Inquisitors. That was pretty good. Okay, so a little bit of behind the scenes there for Clone Wars and Maul and Rebels with Maul from Dave Filoni, the man, the myth, the legend himself. All right, let's get back to the other Maul stuff first, and then we'll switch over to the Mandalorian and Grogu in a second. But I want to get to this super chat because I forgot it from a while ago, and a membership, and 2 memberships. Hang on, wait a second. We got a bunch of things I got to get to here first. Darth Plagueis lives with a very generous $5 holla, says 3 trailers in 1 day. I mean, you could argue that it's 4 with what we just watched, but I guess that wasn't really a trailer. 3 trailers in 1 day. This is where the fun begins, indeed. We love you, Mike. Thanks for all the hard work. Loved the video from yesterday. Almost had 200K. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I appreciate that quite a bit. I love you right back. And the video yesterday was a fun one for sure. The fact that Maul Shadow Lord is confirmed by Dave Filoni to be the ideas of George Lucas is just insanely hype. And the Easter eggs to Starkiller, the Easter eggs to The Force Unleashed, confirmed by David Collins. We're going to be looking for those every single week. The connections between Maul and Starkiller, I know they're not going to be that similar, but it's the same voice. He's got a assistant droid named Spybot, just like Starkiller had Proxy, voiced by David Collins for both characters. It's going to be really, really cool. So I appreciate that quite a bit. Yes, getting to 200,000 is going to be absolutely insane, and I appreciate it quite a bit. I Hodja with a 21-month membership badge. Easy for me to say. I appreciate it. I Hodja says, appreciating 2 years of Mike Flywalker. That's a new one. So hyped for Maul, the Maulway scenes in Shadow Lord. Nice. I appreciate that. Just another Molly Monday. Just another Molly Monday. We're going to get copy struck for that. Thanks a lot. I Haja. In Kenobi's Corner, welcome to the people who love Star Wars. Welcome to the people who love Star Wars, Kenobi's Corner. I appreciate that quite a bit at the Padawan level. Okay, there we have it. The other, wait, what'd you say? The other dragon guy could be the smuggler. Well, okay. The other guy could be the smuggler. Well, if he's a smuggler, I don't think he'd be going toe-to-toe with a lightsaber with Darth Maul. Or if he did, it wouldn't really last very long. I guess he'd be sliced and diced pretty quickly. And to me, the smuggler guy on the poster looks like a small chinchilla-like creature. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, but let's get back to it. So Maul Shadow Lord, the 2 trailers, a new scene. Let's just watch this one more time because it's right in front of me and it's ridiculously hype. And then we'll switch our gears to the Mandalorian and Grogu in a sec.
They tried to kill me. They failed.
Okay. Sam Witwer actually did, I mentioned this earlier, but he did post this. I'm often asked what you need to watch beforehand to enjoy Maul Shadow Lord. Nothing. Even if you've never seen a Star Wars film or TV show, everything you need to know is in the show. Meaning, you don't even have to know who Maul is. You don't even have to know him from the Phantom Menace, from the Clone Wars, from Rebels, from Solo, from anything. This could be your first ever Star Wars project you've ever seen, and it will still make sense. Now, that does give us a little bit of information as to what's going down in this series, because that would mean we need an explanation at some point to tell us that Maul was once Palpatine's apprentice, what happened with that, the whole stuff on Mandalore with his brother Savage dying to Palpatine, what happened with that, his whole, getting sliced in half by Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Phantom Menace. All that needs to be explained at some point in this series, if you can, in fact, watch this show without having seen anything before. So watching everything before will give you the stuff you need to know. Will give you the cool little nods and Easter eggs and references that Maul will talk about, but you don't need to have seen anything. So people holding out hope that you have to, or I guess people holding out hope, people who are worried about not having seen Clone Wars or Rebels or whatever, because Maul is in it and they'll be lost, that concern is out the window. It doesn't exist anymore. Sam Witwer says you don't have to watch a single thing before you watch Maul Shadow Lord. Pretty great. Pretty damn great. So, I'm pretty excited for Maul Shadow Lord. We got 6 days because it comes out on a Monday. Oh, wait. Wait. On a Monday, the 6th. Not a Tuesday, a Monday. Now, let's switch gears a little bit here. I have an article for Maul Shadow Lord, but we can come back to it if we have time. I want to talk about this Mandalorian and Grogu trailer because it's freaking awesome. It's a behind-the-scenes look with Jon Favreau, the director of the movie, Pedro Pascal, the man, the myth, the legend, the Mandalorian himself, and Sigourney Weaver, who sat down with Grogu to talk about the Mandalorian and Grogu. We got some behind-the-scenes footage and new scenes from the movie with just B2 battle droids, like just insanity. So let's watch this. Let's watch this. Let's watch this. I mean, I got nothing else to say. Tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Let's actually see where this poll is at right now. 62% of you guys say you're more excited for Maul Shadow Lord than the Mandalorian and Grogu. And I kind of agree with you at this present moment, just because Maul Shadow Lord is in 6 days. Just because it is right around the corner and the Mandalorian and Grogu is slightly further away. Just slightly further away. Just a little bit. Okay. But let's watch this.
Are we speeding?
We are rolling.
Welcome, Grogu.
Hey, never touch the buttons.
I hope you don't mind us talking about you while you're here.
I feel like your relationship with Grogu has evolved organically.
It started out very reluctantly and then deeply, deeply bonded.
I love how we took you from being his protector, and now he actually feels kind of like he can handle himself now.
Oh, yeah.
He's not just a cute face.
No.
It's not just the Mandalorian anymore, it's the Mandalorian Grogu.
Long live the Empire.
I play an officer in the New Republic. This isn't about revenge. I need someone I can depend on.
We'll take out every bad guy in your deck of cards.
Not quite sure about this little snack eater.
Because it's IMAX, because it's a movie, I wanted to recapture the feeling of when I first saw Star Wars. And so when we're making this, we were using all the technology that's available. And then, of course, we have a lot of classic stuff.
I mean, it was the coolest set I've ever been on.
All of that is to give a whole new audience that same feeling of excitement that I had the first time.
This movie, when you see it, it's like I just got off of a ride.
Do we run or do we fight?
So, first and foremost, a ton of new scenes there, which is great. We'll break it all down in a second. Insanity, right? Oh, thank you. Yes, Brandon, that was... No, where was the other person? Yeah, let's just go like this. Boom. There we go. Now, where's the other person? Oh, maybe I already got rid of it. Okay. Either way, this is craziness. What is happening today? Chat, let's just try to keep it civil, you know? I don't care about making fun of me in the chat. That's perfectly fine. But let's not say some crazy stuff that'll get you canceled online. I'm looking out for you, not myself. But having said that, this movie is a ton of new scenes here. Got a bunch of background stuff, a bunch of behind-the-scenes looks at some scenes we've never seen before. A bunch of new stuff, which is what I like to see. But can we get some good cups follow orders in the chat, please? My cup is empty, and I'm thirsty. Bumper. The things people say online are absolutely insane. Like, would you say that out loud? I mean, Pedro Pascal, like, I don't think he deserves that. You guys are crazy. Okay. Having said that, let's keep going.
Are we speeding?
We are rolling.
Welcome, Grogu.
Isn't it crazy that just a year ago, we were getting reports that Pedro Pascal was not even on the set of this movie at all? That's what we were talking about. We will never see Din Djarin's face again because Pedro Pascal wasn't on the set of the movie where he's the main character. We were like, Pedro's so done with this character, it's beyond belief. And yet, here we are. His face is in the trailer. The new reports are saying that he was on set for the majority of the filming, and he's doing all these promotional things for the movie where he's sitting down on set constantly for this film. Just don't believe everything you hear online, you know? Don't believe everything you hear online. See, that I can deal with. Evil Uncle Ben. Great username, by the way. Take one of the most beloved comic book characters ever and make him evil. you should be banning that horrible hairline. I could deal with that. I love my hairline. But once you start, like, you know, I'm honestly looking out for those people. You should not be saying stuff like that online. That's fine. Like, that comment is perfectly fine. That's whatever. But some of the other stuff that I just banned some people for was, like, absolutely insane. Just you know, like, don't say things like that anywhere. In person, online, like, just have a better, happier life. Outlook at life, you know? Like, things don't have to be bad all the time. Life is good. You're alive. You have like a 1 in 7 quadrillion chance of being alive. Why not, you know, be happy and have fun and not be like, say some of the worst comments I've ever seen on online in my life, you know? Just, you know, be happy. Is that so hard? But if you want to come after me, go for it. Just don't go after anybody else in the chat. That's where I draw the line. Okay.
Hey, never touch the buttons.
I hope you don't mind us talking about you while you're here.
Can we talk about the actual puppet here? Like, yes, they use CGI to bring Grogu to life in the movie to, you know, do that extra step, but this is pretty damn close to the character that we see on screen.
I feel like your relationship with Grogu has evolved organically.
It started out very reluctantly and then deeply, deeply bonded.
So a bunch of new scenes right here, which we'll get to. But we just talked about how you won't have to watch anything before you see Maul Shadow Lord. Nothing. So is that going to be the same case here with The Mandalorian and Grogu? Because there's 3 seasons of a television show focused on these 2 characters. There's not 3 seasons of a Maul show before the Maul show. Or there's not 3 Maul movies before the Maul show. So I'm assuming that it's going to be the same, that they made this movie so that fans who've never seen The Mandalorian can still watch this movie. Because that would really restrict the box office, which I don't think they did. But how they're going to explain the whole 3 seasons, the whole 24 episode story that these 2 characters have been on together, I don't know. Maybe they just don't. And we pick up with these characters right in the middle, like we pick up with Obi-Wan Kenobi in A New Hope. He has this whole backstory behind him, but we just don't know about it until you go watch the prequels. Maybe that's the way they do it. But it'll be interesting to see how they pull that off, because there's no way that they make it required watching to watch the first 3 seasons. Yeah. Okay. Having said that, take a look at these scenes.
I love...
Oh, go back. So, this looks to be, and it's not been confirmed, but it looks to be Nar Shaddaa, the home world of the Hutts, where Din Djarin's going to go see the twin Hutts. And he's there, looks to be of his own free will. Because he's not being escorted in by any, like, he's not in handcuffs. He's there by himself, you know, of his own free will. You can actually see the Razor Crest a little bit in the background right there, which means he's already out of the N1 Starfighter at this point in the movie. A bunch of droids here. So you got some B2 battle droids reworked into, they're all reworked. They're all salvaged or whatever into Hutt workers. They're not pristine separatist droids. At one point they might have been, but I thought it was Nal Hutta. What did I say? Oh, Nal Shaddaa. My fault. Yes. Nal Hutta is the home world of the Hutts. This is what we're looking at here. Nar Shaddaa is the cityscape planet that is the criminal underworld hub that is also in this trailer. Nar Shaddaa, Nal Hutta. My fault. This is Nal Hutta. Yes, you are correct, Chad. Over here you can see what looks to be the head of a B1 battle droid, and then a super commando droid, super battle droid. No, what are these things called? Somebody help me out in the chat. The assassin droids. What are they called? What's their, like, real name? Either way, a bunch of droids reworked for the Hutt's liking.
I love...
A great look at the B2 battle droid right there. He's all rusted. He's all dirty. He's got a cape on. So cool.
How we took you from being his protector, and now He actually feels kind of like he can handle himself now.
Oh, yeah.
So Grogu can handle himself. This continues the conversation that we've been having that these two characters are going to be separated with probably the majority of the movie. Maybe not the majority, but for a large portion of the movie, they will be separated. And as this even shows, Grogu meditating here in this forest. The reason that there is Dagobah in all caps on today's live stream is because this might just be Dagobah. At least that's what fans are talking about right now online. Is this planet Dagobah? Yes or no? Tell me in the chat. At first, I would 100% have said no. However, things have changed. Let me actually show you what I mean. Things have changed quite drastically. This was just wait. Okay, yeah. So Grogu going back to Dagobah would change quite a bit, and Ludwig Göransson actually, or Göransson, the composer of the Mandalorian score, you know, the bum 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 bum, you know, the greatness. He was talking and had this to say about Grogu. Ludwig says, one of his favorite parts in The Mandalorian and Grogu is when Grogu goes to a specific place where you really get to see, you really get to spend some time with him and get to know him. Obviously, that specific place is where he is by himself, meditating on this planet that looks like a swamp planet, and the only other swamp planet that I can really think of off the top of my head is Dagobah, and it has a connection to possibly his father, Yoda. We don't know if that's confirmed, but I mean, there's only one other male species of the Grogu species. So, is this Dagobah? Yes or no? It's too sunny to be Dagobah? Well, it could be a sunny day on Dagobah. Could be a nice, sunny, happy day on Dagobah. We'll keep going because there's more behind-the-scenes images of this location.
He feels kind of like he can handle himself now.
Oh, yeah.
He's not just a cute base.
No, it's not just the Mandalorian anymore. It's the Mandalorian Grogu.
Long live the Empire.
I play an officer in the New Republic. This isn't about revenge. I need someone I can depend on.
We'll take out every...
So she needs somebody she can depend on. She gets Din Djarin. And here we get a look for our first time, that's actually not just leaked footage, of the inside of the AT-AT Walker where Din Djarin has his hallway scene, I suppose, where he's going through just absolutely decimating all of these snow troopers on the AT-AT Walker, which is just so badass. But somebody asks a pretty great question right here. Why do you like fake Star Wars? Well, first and foremost, it's not fake Star Wars, but why do I like Star Wars? Great question. That's actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I was going to be like, oh, this, that, the other thing. I guess for me, and for many people, I think as well, it's an escape. In the same way that I was saying earlier, just be happy. This world is crazy. It's crazy for any number of reasons. Work, at home, literally any problems that could happen in your real world. This is an escape from that. This is a galaxy far, far away, a long time ago. And the fact that it's all just, you know, peak content as well doesn't hurt. It's an escape from reality with characters that you grow connected to, that you love, and then you love to see them die. No, but in all seriousness, you do draw a connection to these characters, and you learn, as George Lucas would say, life lessons. Learn life lessons. And a lot can be learned from Star Wars, specifically how crazy people are. If you look at the fandom, like we've seen today in the chat. But I guess the implied message is the fake Star Wars being Disney Star Wars. Yeah, probably. But I'd love to know, just you know, for the haters of the Disney Star Wars, do you really hate The Mandalorian? Do you really hate Rogue One? Do you really hate tales of the you name it, Jedi Empire underworld, do you really hate Clone Wars Season 7? Do you really hate Andor and Ahsoka and the Bad Batch and Rebels? Because if that's fake Star Wars, then I love me some fake Star Wars. Yeah. So, yeah. But Din Djarin hallway scene. So, last year we got a leaked video of Din Djarin going through an entire AT Walker, just taking down these stormtroopers one after the next. Fast forward a year from then, we haven't seen this scene yet until now. I mean, this is just a part of it, but still, we get Din Djarin going through the AT Walker, taking down. I mean, that guy's on fire. That guy is on fire right now. Somebody call the ambulance. Okay, but no, that guy's on fire. He's leaving a trail of dead bodies. I mean, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 right there. 6, 7. There's a guy poking his head out right there. 8, guy on fire right there. 9, at least 9, maybe 10 snow troopers in the back of this AT Walker that Din has taken out.
Every bad guy in your deck of cards.
Not quite sure about this little snack eater.
This is actually our first look at the Lego set that was leaked of the Anzellan ship. So Grogu and the Anzellans are going to have some weird side mission. Oh, this is Navarro. You can see Navarro intact in the background. Wait, let me move my big ass head. Navarro intact in the background. So for those people who are thinking that Navarro is going to be blown to bits to kill off Greef Karga's character, that seems to be not happening. I mean, maybe it happens later in the movie, but at least right now it's not happening. But this is the Anzellan ship. It may look very big right now, but it's not. Because this is the cockpit. Yeah, this is the cockpit. So why is Grogu with the Anzellans? Where did Din Djarin go? Well, Embo strolls into town on Navarro, and maybe Embo takes him to the huts. That's very possible. But there's going to be some sort of side mission with the Anzellans and Grogu in this movie, while Din Djarin is fighting for his life somewhere else in the galaxy, leading to these two characters being separated for a big portion of the movie. But a great look at a Anzellan ship that will eventually become a Lego set. Here we get Din Djarin. It looks to be, this is a little trailer magic here, because this is like the first time he walks in and meets the Hutts. I think they're of his own free will, and then this is him breaking in, where you can see people on fire behind him as he just killed everybody outside, and then he walks into the... So these are two different scenes, I think, but you get a great look at his new, or slash old, rifle here. What's it called? The somebody in the chat help me out. The great rifle that he had in season 1 that was disintegrating Jawas. You know, that one? Yeah. So he'll be using that again in this season as well. In this movie as well. Yeah. Movie, not a season. Indeed. Okay.
Because it's IMAX, because it's a movie.
Now we get a little bit of a behind the scenes look. A bunch of snow troopers getting ready, gearing up. This is the inside. They made this whole set. Everything you see with the AT-ATs, they made a full AT-AT replica set on set of the Mandalorian and Grogu, and this is what we're looking at right here.
I wanted to reach.
By the way, Jon Favreau did say that although this AT Walker thing seems to be the big epic action sequence of the trailers, it's not even close to the biggest sequence of the movie. Like, that's just the one they're promoting because it doesn't give away any spoilers. It's just a cool AT explosion, whatever. But there is so much crazier things happening in this movie than just that scene. It's just like the appetizer, you know? Oh, an appetizer sounds so bomb right now. Couple mozzarella sticks, chat. Give me some nachos. Extra sour cream. Give me some potato skins. I don't know what else is an appetizer. Give me some chicken wings. Oh, I am starving right now. Oh, chicken wings sounds so bomb. My goodness. Whew. Bacon wrapped steak bites? That sounds incredible. Is that a thing? I've heard of bacon wrapped scallops, but bacon wrapped. Whew. That's crazy. Oh, Star Wars. Yeah. Okay. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So the AT-AT Walker scene is awesome, but it's in all the trailers. And Jon Favreau did tell us that, yes, there's going to be a lot bigger and better action sequences. That's just the one that they can show us, which is great. So a little bit of this.
To recapture the feel.
Now this is where the volume gets really interesting. Everybody craps on the volume because it's green screens and it's not practical. But it allows you to do this. It allows you to have the actor fully immersed on Coruscant with the background being Coruscant when they're not there. Because Coruscant, guess what, guys? It doesn't exist. It's not real. Crazy. But the volume allows you to get great shots like this. So, although the volume shouldn't be used for everything, it certainly helps.
Capture the feeling of when I first saw Star Wars. And so when we're
trying to recapture the feeling that Jon Favreau had when he first saw Star Wars is interesting. You're talking A New Hope. You're talking The Empire Strikes Back. Now, granted, I don't think there'll be any lightsabers in this movie. I don't really see, other than Grogu wielding the Force, any sort of Jedi or Sith being involved. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're just, trying to make us think one thing while the other thing is the truth the entire time. I think what he really means is the dirty underworld feel of the original trilogy. The cantina on Tatooine. All of that stuff that makes it feel Star Wars. You'll have the Force side of it, like Empire Strikes Back, like Dagobah with Yoda, and possibly this Dagobah-looking planet with Grogu, but it's going to be mostly bounty hunters, smugglers, your Han Solos, your Boba Fetts, and that's the feel of the original trilogy that he's talking about here. I believe this is the throne room, right? This is the Hutt's throne room. Again, you have... is this the volume? It has to be, right? Yeah, okay, this is the volume. So again, that's the volume. Looks pretty crazy.
we're making this, we were using all...
This is the planet. So in a very blink you miss it, it's only a couple frames here. We get a good look here at our gigantic set for this swamp planet. The only thing I can describe it is as a swamp planet. Because if I said it was a forest planet, you think of Endor. It's a swamp planet. And the only swamp planet I can think of is Dagobah. Now, it could be a completely new planet. But why make such a massive set if it's not going to be a very important piece of the story? Grogu is going to have his own little side adventure here where he's talking to the old slithery looking guy, old, reptile looking guy in the rocking chair who says, "Are you scared?" Well, you should be. So let's pull this up in the chat. Let's pull it up. Do you think this is Dagobah? I'm still of the mind that it's not, but there's some convincing arguments online, if I do say so myself. So let me see where you guys are at. Do you think... Oh, wait a second. Do you think this planet is Dagobah? Yes or no? Yes or no? Is this gigantic set that they made, practically, by the way, this is not the volume. You can see the blue screens behind, but this is not the volume. This is a massive set. Do you think that this gigantic swamp planet is the same swamp planet that we saw from the original trilogy? Now, if it is, this is still like 10 years, maybe even a little bit more later. So Yoda's dead. Yoda's gone. That's not like, we're not going to see Yoda in this movie. Unless, no, we won't see Yoda in this movie. But could we see the planet that he resided on? Tell me what you think in the chat. It's just very strange to see Grogu off by himself, meditating, talking to that weird rocking chair old lizard dude on a swamp planet.
We were using all the technology.
We get a great look here at the what could be Nar Shaddaa, the cityscape planet that they are creating. Again, a very practical set right here. Different than the one we just saw before with the Coruscant skyline. So a different scene or a different... Oh, this could be the where all the monsters break out scene from the trailer, where all those different chess pieces from the Deseric board, they escape from the gladiator ring. So this planet seems to be where we meet Stinky the Hutt, where we get our giant gladiator battle of Din versus Stinky and Din versus the chess pieces. That all happens here, and this could be where the big battle happens outside of the gladiator ring. It just shows, yet again, how many people it takes an army. It takes an army. How many people it does to create a Star Wars scene. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. At least 25 people on this set right now. And that doesn't even count all the people who are behind the set or in the scene. It takes an army.
Using all the technology that's available. And then, of course...
Oh, there's the city again. Is that a Vespa? Hang on, chat. Vespa gang confirmed. No, this is a different Vespa. Very motorcycle-esque looking thing right there. It is really hard to tell where this street ends and the green screen begins. Not gonna lie. Like, you look down here, where does it end? Is that sign right there real? When does the green screen begin? Holy crap. Okay. I guess we're living in the Matrix, chat. But a bunch of extras. This looks to be Nar Shaddaa yet again. So, yeah. There you have it. Vespa gang confirmed.
And then, of course, we have a lot of classics.
Hang on, we got a super chat. 50 Thunder with a very generous $5 holla says, if Grogu is a relative of Yoda, is that who he meant when Yoda said there is another? Just kidding, I'm tired. Well, of course, the obvious answer to the question, who is Yoda referring to when he says there is another, is Leia. Because Yoda knows that there is twins, Luke and Leia. So he's referring to Leia there. However, it has not ever been confirmed in universe who that another he is referring to. So you could make the argument that it's Ahsoka because he knows Ahsoka is alive. It's Ezra Bridger because he knows Ezra is alive from Rebels. Or it could be Grogu because maybe he knows that Grogu is still alive. So it is technically supposed to be Leia. That was the intention when that line was written. But now you can make the reference that maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't. But having said that, I do think that Grogu is at least a relative of Yoda because they are the same species and there's not many species of Yoda around. But I would make the bold statement to suggest that Yoda and Yaddle might have been doing some off-screen activities to create Grogu. Just saying. Just saying.
Stuff. I mean, it was the coolest set.
Okay. As Pedro Pascal says, it's the coolest set he's ever been on, which is awesome. You get to see him without the helmet on. This is the scene where he fights or is thrown into this water with the dragon snake, where we see in the trailer. Din is definitely going to die in this scene unless he is rescued by Grogu, which I think he will be. and Grogu will come through the sewer pipes, which are seen in the first trailer, where him and the Anzellans are going through the sewer pipes. So the same way we were just talking about how they're going to split up, Grogu's going to go on his side adventure with the Anzellans, and Din Djarin's going to be captured by the Hutts. They come back together when the Anzellans and Grogu are walking through that pipe.
I mean,
that pipe right there where the water is flowing out of, and they come in and save the day, saving Din Djarin from the dragon snake, just like Grogu saves Din Djarin from the Mudhorn in season 1 of The Mandalorian.
it was the coolest set I've ever been on.
All of that is to give.
Here's another look. Now, oh, this is tough. This could be the Dagobah looking planet right here. It could also maybe be Nal Hutta, which is where the Hutts are. Not quite sure. I don't know. It could be.
All of that is to give a whole new audience that same feeling of excitement that I had the first time.
And there's the dragon snake.
This movie.
So at any moment, Grogu and the Anzellans will be coming through this pipe and saving the day. That's my prediction.
When you see it, it's like
I think it's Ossus. Oh my God, if it's Ossus, that would be crazy. The thing is, with Ossus, which by the way, Ossus is Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple planet, Ossus does not really look like that. Let's see. Ossus, the Book of Boba Fett. Let's see. Yeah, Ossus is like a bamboo jungle. Yeah, this is not the same planet. No. Definitely not. Very different looks. Very, very different looks.
I just got off of a ride.
Do we run?
Couple new scenes right here. Well, we've seen Zeb, taking down some stormtroopers, but Din looking down some sort of elevator shaft type thing as a blaster shot is going by him, being shot upwards, it looks like. And then he sort of hides here. I don't know what planet this is, but it looks like it's carved into a mountain of sorts, which leads me to believe that snowy planet with the Imperial base, and that this could be Ilum. Because in The Force Awakens, the Imperial base is sort of carved into the stone of the planet, and that could be what we're looking at right here. This could, in fact, be Ilum, but he's sort of got shot at. He's hiding. And then even more new scenes here, going through these caves, which I think are Nal Hutta. Grogu doing a front flip onto his back. He's got the blaster on his back there, and a new blaster, it looks like, holding. Epic slide scene as he just took out one of those droids we saw outside. Giant explosion, Razor Crest, cool shot right there. Very Rogue One-esque with this shot off the side of the Razor Crest. A little bit of Embo thrown in there. They've used such a tiny amount of Embo in these trailers, and I think it's going to be because he's not in the movie a lot. Like, he's only going to be in the movie for the scene where he captures Din Djarin. It'll be a pretty epic fight sequence, I hope, but it'll only be that scene. Yeah. How much money, in your opinion, do you think this movie will make? I'm very glad you asked. Tell me in the chat how much money you think The Mandalorian and Grogu will make. I am so much of the mind that this movie will make $1 billion that it's insane. I actually would be shocked if it doesn't, for many different reasons. 4 of the last 5 Star Wars movies that Disney made $1 billion and made it pretty easily. The only one being Solo, and there's a lot of reasons as to why it didn't. The movie before that was The Last Jedi. It came out in the same month as Avengers Infinity War, and they recasted Han Solo. All that. There's more, but still, that's the premise. Also, the fact that this is your fan favorite characters right now. Grogu is everywhere. I mean, look down. He's on your shirt right now. Boom. He is today. Grogu is their money-making machine. He prints money for Disney. So kids, adults, everybody loves Grogu, and they're all going to go see this movie to see the next adventure of The Mandalorian. Also, The Mandalorian on Disney Plus was their biggest show by far. So you're going to have those fans coming over to the big screen as well. And it comes out in a month where there's very little competition. The Devil Wears Prada 2 is its only competition, and it's 3 weeks before, and it has nothing to do with superheroes or sci-fi or anything. And then after it, the only competition is Toy Story 5, which comes out 3 or 4 weeks later. So it's in this perfect bubble where it can make so much money because of the recognizable characters, because it's Star Wars, because it has its own little spot for a release date. It's got everything going for it. So for those reasons, $1 billion. In $1 billion, pretty easily. I wouldn't be shocked if it gets upwards of $1.5 billion. And if you're like Ron from Star Wars Jedi Chat, or Derek from Star Wars Jedi Chat, you might think it makes $2 billion. I think it makes 2 because The Force Awakens made 2 if it's a great movie, if it's a rewatchable movie, if the normie fan goes, I want to see that again, or this is really, really good, I'm going to go tell my friends. If it has word of mouth and rewatchability, then it could make upwards of $1.5 to $2 billion. If it's a really good movie, it'll make that kind of money. Force Awakens kind of money. Because The Force Awakens made $2 billion when really no movie was doing that. Other than Avatar, that was it. And until the Avengers come late 2010s, and of course made $2 billion with Endgame. But still, it will be hard to recap. I mean, The Force Awakens is Luke, Leia, and Han, and Chewie, and R2 and C-3PO for the first time in 30 years. So that's a little bit different than Din and Grogu, who are fan favorite characters, but it doesn't have to do Force Awakens money to be a successful movie. It doesn't even have to make $1 billion to be successful, but I just think it will make $1 billion. And that's my prediction. But tell me in the chat, how much money do you think it will make? Spider-Man also made $2 billion? Well, the newer ones, like post 2020. Like Spider-Man No Way Home, yeah. And when you look at the movies that have made $1 billion recently, you're looking at Avatar, which, I mean, are they even comparable? Let's be honest. You're looking at Avatar, Zootopia 2, Lilo and Stitch, the live-action remake. What else has made $1 billion recently? Moana did. There was another movie that I was like, that made $1 billion? And I can't remember what it was. But, yeah. Yeah. If this movie makes over $1 billion, we will be just living it up as Star Wars fans. As I said before, it doesn't have to make $1 billion to be successful, but if it does make $1 billion, the first Star Wars movie back in almost 7 years makes $1 billion. It's good news for Star Wars Starfighter next year, and it's great news for all the Star Wars movies that come after it. So, there you have it. But only time will tell. It only makes the money that it makes. So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I'll go watch it 1 billion times if that's what it takes. But getting back to this, Embo, I don't think he'll be in a lot of the movie, but he will be a very important piece to the movie. Grogu with only 3 Anzellans. I know you guys are like, Mike kills off everybody, but 1 Anzellan is definitely going to die to Embo's dog, Marok. He'll be eaten by the dog. Pretty graphic scene, if you ask me, but hey, I didn't do it. But 3 Anzellans as opposed to the 4 that we see at the beginning of the trailers. This is a great scene. So this is Din Djarin on, what are these speeders called? From The Phantom Menace. Throwback to when Qui-Gon Jinn rescues Jar Jar Binks when they just landed on Naboo. Throwback to all the way 1999 when Qui-Gon Jinn is deflecting blaster bolts from B-1 battle droids riding on this, saving Jar Jar Binks' life. Yeah. So these are those same speeder bikes. Speeder. I don't even know what to call it. What is this called? Stap? Is that what it's called? What is Stap? Whatever. These things. Oh, hang on. No, go back. So you can see this is a crazy shot. Din Djarin riding it, mowing down the droids in front of him. But you can see him. It's clearly Din Djarin. Actually, I think Grogu's on his shoulder right there. You can see him. So Grogu and Din flying through on the back of this, just taking down these droids. Now, this might be them leaving. Like, maybe they go to meet with the Hutts and it doesn't go as you know, as planned, I suppose. Oh, it's so cool. It's so freaking cool. And then we get Grogu and Din flying. This is when they have to break in, it looks like. Din Djarin, with his helmet on, by the way, fighting these two giant droids outside the Hutt's throne room. Still no explanation to this. Looks very deserty. It might not be Tatooine, though, because there's a little bit of greenery. But it's a desert with stormtroopers and their ship being blown up. There's still so much of this movie that we just don't even know. We're trying to put the pieces together, but there's just too much. So that's flipping over. Big explosion on Nal Hutta. Cool little Razor Crest scene. Grogu going wee, and then that's it. So a bunch of new scenes here. Behind the scenes looks, all that great stuff. So much Mandalorian and Grogu. Oh, and a runtime. So we got the leaked runtime that was 2 hours and 20 minutes. And at first, everybody was like, this is fake. This is just a placeholder. This is blah, 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 you know? But then, fast forward to today, we find out that the runtime is reportedly 2 hours and 20 minutes. What that previous leak did, in fact, say. And now this source is Quantic 4K Qual, which is a very reliable source who has gotten runtimes, titles for episodes right constantly with Disney Plus shows for Star Wars. Constantly. So this is coming from a very, very, very reliable source. So is the 2 hours and 20 minutes real? Because the first time we got it, the 2 hours and 20 minutes runtime, everybody was saying it was fake. It was just a placeholder. There's nothing to it. But now it's coming from a very reliable source. Very reliable. So we might be looking at a 2 hour and 20 minute Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Sounds pretty great to me. I mean, I of course want it to be 10 billion hours, but beggars can't be choosers, I guess. 2 hours and 20 minutes still makes it one of the longest Star Wars movies of all time. At least top 5. Yeah. But what do we think about this runtime, chat? Is 2 hours and 20 minutes long enough? Is it good enough? I know runtime has always been a very strong issue with many Star Wars fans. The runtime of episodes being problematic, to say the least. So is 2 hours and 20 minutes good enough? Let's actually go check some other runtimes for Star Wars movies. I would assume the longest of the movies are like Revenge of the Sith. It's a pretty long movie. But let's check. Revenge of the Sith's runtime is 2 hours and 22 minutes. Wow. So this is only 2 minutes shorter, or could be only 2 minutes shorter than Revenge of the Sith. That's pretty wild. So that's 2 hours and 22 minutes. A New Hope was 2 hours and 6 minutes. Empire was 2 hours and 9 minutes. Return of the Jedi was 2 hours and 17 minutes, so it's longer than every single original trilogy movie. The Force Awakens was 2 hours and 22 minutes, same as Revenge of the Sith. Last Jedi was 2 hours and 35 minutes. Wow. And Rise of Skywalker was 2 hours and 24 minutes. Crazy. Okay, so it's up there with some of the longest ones we've gotten. Wild. Wild, wild. I think it worked. I mean, it depends on how the movie flows and everything, but seems pretty good to me. I wish it was 10 minutes longer. Yeah. I think that's going to be something you'll actually see online too, which is pretty crazy. Yeah. Okay. But having said that, pretty wild stuff. All right, let's do the giveaway now just so we can get it over and done with. We got some pretty crazy news outside of the I guess in terms of Maul. This one was pretty crazy. So do you guys remember we got this leak for a toy? This is the thing that Din Djarin's riding on the back of, by the way. This right there. This little thing. It is called a stap. You guys were right. Okay. The stap thing right here. Or stape, whatever. So this guy was just revealed to us today, as you can see him in the trailer that we just watched. So he won't be very important, but he's going to be in there for sure. But yeah. All right, let's do the giveaway. Last chance to become a member of the people who love Star Wars. If you are not already, you can gift memberships if you feel so inclined. But we love to give back to our members. At the end of every single month, we do a giveaway. And today's giveaway is a pretty fun one, if I do say so myself, and that is Grogu in the pod. It even comes with a Lego frog that he eats. So that's pretty cool. And we gave away one of these before, I believe. So it's brought back due to popular demand and the fact that The Mandalorian and Grogu is our next movie. So we'll do that, and let's check out the memberships here. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. All right, so total active members right now we have. Zoom in on this. We have 87. Okay. 87, which is technically up from last month, which is cool. All right, 87 members. So we have a 1 in 87 chance right now to win said Grogu Lego, starting with number 87 being Kenobi's Corner because he just joined this live stream, going all the way to Cat's Paw being number 1. So we're going to spin the wheel, 1 through 87 right here. Drum roll, please, chat. Let's spin the wheel. You got a 1 in 87 chance. That's pretty good percentage right there. You know, that's at least 1%. A 1% chance at a free Lego set. You can't beat that. So let's do it. 1 in 87. Yes, not 187. Okay. All right. Spin the wheel. I love that noise, you know? It's just a satisfying noise, chat. A satisfying noise. Oh, a very high number here. 77? You mean like 1977? All right, let's start at the top, I guess. 77 means we only got to go down 10. A very new coming member, or maybe a rejoined member. We'll see. We shall see. All right, starting at Kenobi's Corner, 87, 86, 85, 84, 83, 82, 81, 80 is Steve. 80. 79, 78, 77 is Pam Hill. Is Pam Hill here today? I don't think I've seen her name, but either way, Pam Hill is very regular around these live streams, so you love to see that. Pam Hill, congratulations for you won the giveaway. Shout out to Pam Hill. Hit me up on Discord, on Instagram, Twitter, wherever, so we can get this out to you as soon as possible. Let me write it down. Pam Hill. Boom. All right. So, Pam Hill, congratulations. Appreciate all the members. You guys are insanely generous for even, being a part of this channel in the first place. But the fact that you want to be a member is so insane to me. So I appreciate it so much more than you'll ever possibly imagine. The memberships keep the lights on over here, so I appreciate it quite a bit. It truly does do wonders, so I appreciate it really, really muchly. If you are not yet already, there's a completely free Discord in the description below. But let's keep talking some Star Wars here. Congratulations to Pam. Congratulations, Pam. All hail, Pam. But let's do this, okay? Mandalorian, let's go back to the Maul Shadow Lord thing first here. So Maul Shadow Lord. We got this official interview for Maul Shadow Lord with the cast, specifically our 2 main characters here. So this comes from StarWars.com. Meet the cast of Maul Shadow Lord. The talent and the creators and talent behind the latest Star Wars animated series, invites you to join the former Sith Lord on Janix with a 2-episode premiere on April 6th, which is a Monday, not a Tuesday. I know I've said that it's a Monday, not a Tuesday, like 1,000 times this live stream, but do you know how many people on Tuesday of next week are going to be like, oh my God, I thought the episodes came out today? At least 6 million of you. At least. Yeah. Okay. Having said that, let's read this. Maul could be described in many ways. A terrifying... let's skip to the interview here. Head writer Matthew Miknovitz, who's been a long time writer for the Star Wars animation, wrote arcs like the Umbara arc for the Clone Wars and is all the way through Rebels in the Bad Batch. And supervising director Brad Rao, who was the showrunner for the Bad Batch, have assembled a crew of phenomenal newcomers and recognizable Star Wars animated stalwarts, sure, to round out the cast. We have a dream cast, Brad Rao tells StarWars.com. I can't imagine any of these characters being played by anybody else. They're incredible, and it starts from the top with Sam Witwer. Of course, he's been around Star Wars for a very long time. He has voiced Maul all the way back to, I guess, the Clone Wars would be the first time. But before that, he was the voice of the Sun in the Clone Wars. Before that, he was Starkiller in the Force Unleashed games. So he's been with Star Wars for quite some time. We had a great time working with him and collaborating with him to keep his character authentic. We're focusing on a bad guy as the main character. And Maul, who's a character who has very little screen time in The Phantom Menace, is getting the majority of the focus in this show. I appreciate the hearts, guys. I really, really do. Okay. Despite playing a former Sith Lord, he's kind of like our Jedi Master, adds Miknovitz. He knows what he's doing. Sam Witwer, that is, not Maul. He knows Star Wars, and it's just remarkable. Everybody on the cast is exceptional. Sorry. So here we go. Sam Witwer, the man, the myth, the legend. No longer Darth, now simply Maul, with a nightmarish visage? Sure. And a devilish demeanor. Maul remains a fan favorite amongst the storied Star Wars villains for a number of reasons. The iconic character design was first introduced in The Phantom Menace, when most viewers thought that Maul had surely perished in the duel versus Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is funny because, the whole big deal is that, somehow Palpatine returns is like one of the stupidest things ever, blah, 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 blah. But somehow Maul returns is awesome. Now, a lot of that has to do with storytelling and explanation. We got plenty of explanation as to why and how Maul returns, and Palpatine's return was sort of unexplained. Now it's being fleshed out, like with the Bad Batch, Project Necromancer, the Mandalorian, and it's getting better. Shadow of the Sith does wonders on that. But yeah, it's being fleshed out now. Like, the line, somehow Palpatine returns, makes more sense today than it did in 2019, for sure. But nobody had a problem with Maul's return because he's badass and he's awesome. And yes, he is amongst the most popular and fan-favorite characters. Where does Maul fit in your top echelon of Star Wars characters? Like, is he top 10? Is he top 20? Is he top 5? Is he number 1? Where is Maul for you specifically, chat, in terms of favorite characters in Star Wars? For me, he's number 3. It goes Anakin, Ahsoka, then Maul. And those 3 have not changed in a long time. And to think that this year we are getting more of all 3 of those characters, to me, is so insanely cool. But for Maul in particular, Ahsoka has her own show. Anakin, the whole story's about Anakin, so he has his own show and movie and show and movie and show and movie. But Maul has always been, I guess, a side character, for lack of a better word. So the fact that he's getting his own show is awesome. He's top 5, top 10, okay, top 15, valid. I think for most fans, he's at least top 20. It's hard to think of 20 characters that are anywhere close to better than Maul. So, a pretty beloved character. That's why I think the viewership numbers for Maul Shadow Lord are going to be so much higher than even Rebels or Bad Batch or the Tales stuff, because Maul is a recognizable face and people want to see him. People want more of him. People who would not usually watch animated stuff would want more of him. Continuing. Okay, over the years, we've witnessed Maul on the edge of insanity in the Clone Wars and consumed by revenge in Star Wars Rebels. In both cases, actor Sam Witwer provided the vocal talents to brilliantly bring the character's cunning menace to life. With Maul, we've seen his beginnings and we've seen his ending. Sam Witwer says, "What happens to him in between?" We know where Maul's story ends. Much like I still want more Luke Skywalker, I still want more Leia and Han, even though we know where their stories end. The same way when the original trilogy came out, when Obi-Wan Kenobi dies in A New Hope, spoiler alert, when Yoda dies in The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, spoiler alert, and Anakin Vader dies in Return of the Jedi as well, spoiler alert. When those characters die, it doesn't mean I don't want to watch the prequels. Or when Cassian Andor dies in Rogue One, doesn't mean I don't want to watch Andor. I think I made my point. So just because we know where Maul's story ends does not mean that we don't have to, watch the show. Set a few years into the creation of the Empire. Interesting. This timeline has shifted a bit. I've heard Sam Witwer say 1 year. I've heard him say just about a year. And now we're hearing a few years. So I wonder if we'll get a solid date come the premiere of this show, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Set a few years into the creation of the Empire, Maul Shadow Lord picks up at a time where you can begin to unravel some of the mystery. Sam Witwer notes that this version of Maul is still reeling from the loss of his brother, Savage Opress, and Mother Talzin, not so far in the distant past. So maybe we'll get some flashbacks or at least references to that stuff. Maul finds an opening for his machinations within the seedy underbelly of Janix, a new planet. Among the underworld underworld kingpins, So he's going to find his place in all this with the Pikes, the Black Sun, the Crimson Dawn. Well, I guess he's the Crimson Dawn, but yeah, you get the point. The Hutts. In Maul Shadow Lord, he has a crew of very colorful, interesting characters. We got Rook Kast. We got the Scorch and Icarus, the two Zabraks. We got another Mandalorian who seems to be, untitled so far. For me, it was the promise that we were going to dig into Maul and answer the questions of how he changed so drastically into the Rebels version of the character. Because by the time of Rebels, he is very different than the Clone Wars version. They go on to compare him to Gollum or Smeagol, which is pretty great. But lucky for Maul, he has leadership qualities to keep a small collective loyal to his cause. So there's that. Now I want to get to the good part here. This character, possibly our canon version of a Darth Talon, Devin Izara, voiced by Gideon Adlon. Adlon? Sure. Voiced by Gideon. Not to be confused with Moff Gideon. It wasn't long into that Devin Izara was a Jedi Padawan studying with her master Iko Dio. Now, the pair are on the run from the Empire and forced into hiding on the world of Janix. So they're just hiding on this planet. The young Twi'lek is an adept fighter, defending herself with a blue lightsaber, which, by the way, is going to be a limited lightsaber at Galaxy's Edge in about a week. A blue lightsaber when needed. But according to the voice actor, Gideon Adlon, she's also dealing with some regular young adult emotions as she struggles to find her footing in a new world order. So the Empire changes everything drastically, not just for Maul, but for this girl as well. Everything that she thought she had is gone. And now she's got this. An Empire that's hunting her down on the daily. Devon Izara is a Jedi in the post-Order 66 world, and she is filled with angst, Adelon says. She's a teenage girl there we go, we got an age. Living in a world where she's trying to decipher right from wrong. Interesting. Like Maul, her character's relatability has been resonating with the cast and crew. Everybody in the room and recording booth has been relating to Devon, which is very special, Adlon says. She's making me feel like I'm doing what I should be doing because of the things that I've been through as a young girl myself. When I was a teenager and I was a woman, and as a woman, she came very easy to me. I feel like she's like my sister. Interesting. Doesn't sound very dark side to me unless we don't know much about Gideon, I suppose. We're very much part of each other. Now, I want to point out something very interesting about this character. When they posted this poster, when Lucasfilm or Star Wars themselves posted that poster for the character of Devon Izara, the texts along with it were this. Devon Izara is no ordinary Jedi. You know who's no ordinary Jedi? Anakin. You know who's no ordinary Jedi? Ahsoka. Now, this made me start to think, what makes her different? She's like Ahsoka. She is, it does very much remind you of Ahsoka Tano. Absolutely. But they're not just going to recreate the character of Ahsoka. This is going to be a very different character. Now, maybe it's much like Ahsoka if Ahsoka turned to the dark side. Because I see no world where this character does not end up, by the end of this series, fully consumed by the darkness and the apprentice to Maul. Maybe she lasts a couple seasons. Maybe she ends up being Maul's apprentice for a few seasons of Maul Shadow Lord. But at some point, these two are going to have some sort of falling out. And I don't think it's going to end with her dying. Because that wouldn't really make much sense. Why introduce such a great new character if you're just going to kill her off? I think what we're seeing here is the new Ahsoka, is the new Omega. Because Omega and Ahsoka, or is the new Ezra as well. Because Rebels, it's a great story. It's a great story. But it establishes Ezra Bridger for future content. Same with the Bad Batch. It's a great story. It's a great story about Omega, but Omega is set up for future content. Ahsoka, same thing. Clone Wars introduces her. It's a great story, but sets her up for future content. This is going to be a great story for Maul, for Devon Izara, but it's going to set her up for future content. The anti-Ahsoka? It could be. It could be. So, although this will be a great introduction to Devon Izara, I think we were going to get so much more of her later down the line in the Star Wars timeline. Hopefully in the post-sequel world, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Yeah. She reminds me of the apprentice that we saw in the last Knights of the Old Republic cinematic video. Kind of. Well, that's because she was a Twi'lek, right? If I remember correctly, that last video was, she was a Twi'lek. Yeah, so she does, for sure. But it's weird that they put is no ordinary Jedi in there. That's a little strange. Yeah. So, the rest of that article just goes on to talk about whatever, and the whole cast right there with Spybot, of course, being the mysterious sidekick droid to Maul. Yeah. So there we have it. Oh, yeah, okay. So there was some other news that I wanted to get to that is, I guess, different, which is this. We just learned that the new update for Fortnite allows fans to make their own Star Wars games. And we watched it last stream. There's some incredible stuff being created. Open world Endor has already been created. Open world Tatooine and Hoth, all been created already. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. It's only been out for about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks by now. But now the rumor is that Disney might actually acquire Epic Games. Disney in recent past has bought Marvel, Star Wars, ever heard of it? Has bought 20th Century Fox. And Epic Games would just be the next stone on the Infinity Gauntlet, if you make a Thanos reference. The next lightsaber to Grievous's collection, if you want to make a Star Wars reference. So that would be enormous news. Like, that would be huge. Whether it's good news or bad news, I guess that's up to you guys. But this would be huge for the video game side of Star Wars. Because Epic Games is not just Fortnite. It's Fortnite, it's Rocket League, it's some other things as well. But it's a big company that draws in billions and billions in revenue every single year. So that's pretty enormous for Star Wars video game fans. There was something else I wanted to get to too here. Let's see. Oh, this was what I was talking about earlier. Jon Favreau says the AT-AT sequence in The Mandalorian and Grogu is far from the biggest sequence of the movie. Far from it. So, although this AT sequence is awesome and it's got me hyped up, it is nowhere close. So, that's pretty wild. So there's that. The Coleman Trebor thing we already looked at. Yeah. Oh, this. We'll mute that for now. So this is again people making Fortnite maps. This looks like it could be Naboo. The graphics is still the thing that makes Battlefront still better, but maybe that can change. I'm not quite sure. Got stuff like this going on. We already watched that one, I think, actually. A fully watchable, a fully explorable Endor, which is insane to me. I kind of want to tap into this just to see how easy it is to make these, because these guys are doing this in such fast time. It's crazy. So, a bunch of really cool stuff coming from Star Wars. Oh, I saw this. This is freaking hilarious. Take a look at this, chat. Take a look at this. This is like talking to Star Wars fans, and it has fans in quotations, nowadays.
Hey, have you seen the trailers for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie?
The who and the what?
It's the new Star Wars movie that's based on the show that came out a few years ago.
Oh, please. All those new shows are cash grab garbage. There's too many to even keep track of, and it ruins what Star Wars should be.
You don't like any of the shows? Not even Andor?
Honestly, I haven't seen any of them, but even if I did, I would hate them.
Huh. I thought you were a huge Star Wars fan.
I am. I have been all my life.
So you don't like any of the shows, just the movies?
Exactly. Well, actually, I really don't like the sequel movies. The Force Awakens was just a carbon copy of A New Hope. The Last Jedi completely ruins Luke's character, and The Rise of Skywalker was an absolute mess.
Yeah, okay. What about the prequels?
Don't even get me started on the prequels. I remember sitting in theaters to watch The Phantom Menace as an adult with no kids and thinking, this is not the Star Wars that I grew up with as a child. That entire trilogy was a waste of time.
Did you like the spin-offs, Rogue One and Solo?
You know, I forgot that those existed, and I'd kind of like to forget again.
So it sounds like you only like the original 3 movies.
Yeah, pretty much. Actually, I have some problems with The Return of the Jedi. The Ewoks were just too dumb and too kiddie, and I really hated what they did with the Boba Fett character.
Huh. Any problems with The New Hope or Empire Strikes Back?
Of course not. Those are perfect movies. I love Star Wars so much.
Do you, though? Because out of the 12 movies and 20 shows, you like 2 movies. At that ratio, are you even a fan?
I sure hope so. I just spent $1,000 on this lightsaber.
It is so spot on. It's crazy. Yeah, so, and it's actually kind of spot on for the day we had today with the chat here. But here's the thing. That is, of course, a joke. That's a joke, chat. But it's very spot on as well, because there's a lot of people that, dub the new stuff fake Star Wars. It's crazy. But what are you going to do? Star Wars fandom has been split since the Ewoks showed up in 1983. And here we are today with just a split growing more and more every single day. What are you going to do? Either way, we still got a fun one for coming up next week. Maul Shadow Lord begins 2-episode premiere on Monday, April 6th. Maul Mondays. So watch out for that. Of course, we got a live stream on Thursday and Saturday before then, but we'll be giving our predictions and all that stuff on Saturday's live stream. It'll be a prediction stream. We haven't done a prediction stream in a really long time, so that'll be really fun. But until then, smash a freaking like on this stream if you have not already. Hit that subscribe, hit that bell, all that great stuff. You know the deal, chat. You know the deal. We are almost at 200,000 subscribers. It's absolutely insane. So I appreciate you guys so much more than you'll ever possibly believe. But there we are. If you want to keep the conversation going, go join that Discord. There's a link in the description below to a Discord called The People Who Love Star Wars. And yeah, 3 trailers in a day is pretty great. 2 Maul trailers, a Mando trailer. Pretty great. And I wonder what we'll see on Thursday. I'm sure even more. But until then, may the Force be with you. Always. Chopper, come on, man. Oh, yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate you all so much more than you'll ever know. It is really nice to see how great of a community that we've created here. And it's all credit to you guys. Just the positivity is incredible. Even though we have some negativity today, it's still the majority positivity. So, just don't let it affect you. But having said that, this was a great stream. Probably one of my favorites of the year so far, with all the trailers that we just watched and all the hype that we just had. But we'll continue the fun mañana. Whoa, did I just speak Spanish? I love you right back. I love you right back. Trust me, I cry every time I get off screen because I feel so loved. But in all seriousness, I appreciate you guys. Hope you have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your lives. And good night, everybody.